Let's get started. Create a new composition. Press Ctrl N or go to Composition, click New. Rename it to Main 1. For this composition, I'm using 1280 by 720 pixels. Frame per second is 30 and duration of this composition is 20 seconds. Click OK. Add a new solid layer to the timeline. Rename it to Form 1. Go to Effects and Presets. And add a Trapcode form effect to this layer. Go to Base Form. Change Base Form from Box Grid to Sphere Layered. Change size X, Y and Z to 400 each. Change particles X and Y to 40 each. Go to Particles. Change size to 1. Change size random to 50%. Change blend mode to add. Go to Disperse and Twist. Change Disperse to 38. Now add a null layer to the timeline. Go to Effects and Presets. Add a slider control effect to this layer. Move timeline to 0 frames. Click Stopwatch next to slider. Change its value to 5. Now move the timeline to 599 frames. And change its value to 0.80. Press U to open all the keyframes. Ease the last keyframe. Go back to Form 1 layer and to Trapcode form effect. Go to Transform. Press Alt button and click Stopwatch next to Y Rotation World. Write this script, given in the description down below. Now add a camera layer to the timeline. Uncheck Lock to zoom. Now add a new null layer to the timeline. Make this layer 3D. Link this layer to camera layer. Go to Transform. Move the timeline to 0 frames and click Stopwatch next to Y Rotation. Now move the timeline to 599 frames and change its value to 0 and -180. Go to Camera Layer and go to Transform. Move the timeline to 0 frames and click Stopwatch next to Position. Change its value 0, 260 and minus 50. Now move the timeline to 599 frames and change its value to 0, 90 and minus 25. Go to Camera Options. Change focus distance to 194 and change aperture to 10 pixels. Create a new composition and rename it to Main 2. Go to Project window and drag Main 1 comp to the timeline. Duplicate this layer by pressing Ctrl D. Go to Effects and Presets. And add a Fastbox blur effect to this layer. Change blur radius to 104 and iterations to 1. Now add an adjustment layer to the timeline. Rename it to CC. Go to Effects and Presets. Add an Curves effect to this layer. Change its RGB channel. Now add a color balance effect to this layer. Change shadow red balance to minus 30, green balance to 33 and blue balance to 72. Change midtone red balance to minus 100 and blue balance to 100. Change highlight red balance to minus 100, green and blue balance to 100 each. Now create a new composition. Rename it to Final. Go to Project window. Add Main 2 comp to the timeline. Go to Effects and Presets and add Hue Saturation effect to this layer. Change Master Saturation to minus 100. Duplicate this layer by pressing Ctrl D. Change its mode to Add. Delete Hue Saturation effect from this layer. And add Fastbox blur effect to this layer. Change blur radius to 100 and iterations to 1. Now add an adjustment layer to the timeline. Rename it to CC. Go to Effects and Presets. Add an Curves effect to this layer. Change its RGB channel. Go to Main 1 comp again. And change mode of Form 1 layer from normal to Add. Duplicate this layer by pressing Ctrl D. Rename it to Form 2. Go to Particles and change size to 0.3. And change opacity to 50. Duplicate this layer around 300 times. Now play this animation. That is folks for today. I hope you like my video. If you like the video, please click the like button. If you are new to this channel, please subscribe to it. Thank you and have a nice day.